right. Let's sync up. Right foot over. Head to the right, body to the left. Breathe in through the mouth. 2, 3. Through the nose. 2, 3. Are we gonna do an oil?
Do an oil?
What have we got?
I think I already oiled.
Yeah, you guys already did it, but I'm gonna do it.
Both of them.
I waited.
Throat.
Heart. Hey, you gotta have some fun with it.
Well, doctored mix oils have been with me every day for now 15 years. Well, with the exception of the start of the pandemic. And they've allowed me to rebalance myself because things get pretty heated up sometimes. A little bit of heart.
I think the most important part about this update is that I can tuck my hair behind my ears now. So it no longer is in my face and I don't have to use a clip.
I kind of like the clip.
Yeah.
I like the little clippy thing.
You know, it's a good experiment. So we're home. We're in Cancun. We've been here for a little bit since we stopped the tour, since we paused it. But we're already going to get up and go again. And I think a big part of that is because we want to interact with people in person. That's a really important part of what we do right now. I mean, we've done things online for 4 years, and once we had a taste of being with people in person, I think it was, you know, something we want more of. So irrespective of everything going on in the world right now, we're going somewhere. And we're going to Florida next week for 2 things, really. One is is a news station or a live TV segment. Do you want to talk more about that?
Yeah, I mean, so part of it is that through the hurricane that went through Tampa while we were there, I mean, we felt a little bit of it, but there is, you know, widespread destruction and disaster. People are dealing with stress, anxiety, loss. I mean, even Gail from KTLA, who was hosting us, she was taking people in off the street, living at their home, and there's a real need for people to have some help on the street. And what we're going to be doing is a 45-minute segment, and what we're going to be doing is a stress, anxiety, and trauma release class that's going to be played to 30 million people throughout the state of Florida, but to help bring a little bit more awareness and just and relieve the stress and the anxiety on the street, because the people on the street that are dealing with this, I mean, it's intense, and it still is. They've lost their homes, they've lost their lives, they've lost their jobs, a lot of them.
Asheville was hit really hard.
Yeah, I mean, it all started with the idea of how do we support these communities, and you know, we wanted to fundraise, we wanted to do it through a class, and then it ended up presenting the opportunity to do it live on TV, which has a whole different audience and the ability to bring awareness to this, to bring self-healing to these communities. But we still want to fundraise, and we're working with an organization right now that is actually like in the fields helping people.
Yeah.
So we'll put that link in the description if anybody wants to donate or contribute to help them. You know, there's a lot of people right now, they don't have food, they don't have power, they don't have homes, they don't have anything, and nobody's there to support them. So whatever we can do to support with our community and our reach and our movement, we want to do that. That's a big part of why we do what we do. What's wrong with my shirt?
Well, and for the people there too, that's that trauma of losing everything.
Yeah.
Like they've lost all of their everything, their whole livelihood, and their communities are gone. So.
And it's happening everywhere right now. Also.
Spain, Paris,
Cuba
has
been powerless for a month now, I think.
Has it been a month?
I mean, a long time, and food and everything. So.
The one thing we can do is irrespective of the trauma or the situations, people have the ability to adapt to them, and they can't adapt to them when they're in stress. And so this is why we're doing it. We're doing live TV. Everybody has access to it. It's going to be 30 million people viewing it, and that's to start off. But we are also going to be going and doing one for North Carolina. We haven't announced the date yet, but that's going to be with on Dish Network and on some television networks all through the United States. That's going to be approximately 2 more weeks. and that one's even a little bit bigger. But these are the two ways that we can support with our movement and with our people, and we can send energy to them, give people tools on the street, because when they're in these situations, they can't change their circumstances, but they can change what they see about it, and they see more options when they're out of stress. And that's the biggest way we can contribute. Any money that's raised will be sent right to. We're working with Publicity for Good, who's our publicist, and they have feet on the street in North Carolina. They actually live there, so it's their home turf. So they're actually distributing funds in real time, and we'll be giving feedback about how to do it, and also showing people where the funds are going.
Yeah.
They're building 100 homes right now.
That's wild. And they've raised like 600,000 already.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But while we're there, we're going to be in Florida. We also have another event, the Wellness Weekend, or the Content Creator House. Do you want to talk more about what we're doing there?
Well, for the first time ever, we're going to be releasing the performance maneuvers. The whole idea is fascial maneuvers came actually from performance, and in order to perform, you have to heal first. But there are things that you can do to perform better, and we're going to be doing in partnership. This is a biohacking event. Gary Breck is going to be there speaking. We're speaking as well. We have $2 million worth of performance equipment there, and this event's in a $50 million mansion, which is kind of not our general thing, but it's in this really cool place, and we're going to be doing a performance workshop at the front of it. So teaching people how to perform better in their lives. And they can go to the event. You can come to our link below and you can sign up for the event. But even more importantly, if you want to come and experience this for the first time ever, from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. we're going to be doing a performance workshop. And that is exclusive. It's not being done anywhere else in the world. And we have one of the top golf coaches in the world, I believe, going to be joining us that we're working with the day before.
That'll be fun.
Yeah, and there's a lot of equipment, and I think a big part of our practice for the last 4 years is how do we do this completely independent of anything, really.
Right.
So I think it'll be interesting to test things now that we're ultra sensitive and completely natural to test what's coming in the industry, because I think that the technology today is evolving really fast. And it'll be interesting to see how our bodies respond in comparison.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's been a long time since I've been biohacking. So
yeah. So when's Thanksgiving?
Thanksgiving is the last week of this month.
Last Thursday.
20. Yeah, I think it's the 27th or 28th, and we have an event which we're going to do. One of the things since we've stopped the tour is, and we want to be on tours. People right now, I've been traveling the last 2 weeks, or we have been, and what I've noticed is airports are dead, airplanes are dead, and people have stopped traveling. So to continue the mission of bringing the tour and the Transforming Trauma tour to people, we're going to be bringing it online, but the full online event, just like we're on tour on stage, and we're going to start that. It's on Saturday the 30th, and we'll also have a link that people can sign up for that. So it's the same format that we would on tour, and we were only able to get to so many places anyways, and people are constantly asking us if we can come to their city. Well, this is a way that we can come to their city.
Well, I think it's funny because 2 years ago when we started doing online classes on virtual for our community, it was November 27th, 2022.
Was it?
Yeah, so this time it's November 30th, right? So it's a little bit off, but it's basically the same energy. It's the same time. I mean, the Groundhog Day, it's coming back. And now we're doing it different because we have Deepak and we have Robert and we have Chris Witecki. And, we're bringing actually our world tour into this. Instead of just us presenting a class, it's going to be a bit more how you would see us if you came to an event in person. So,
well, the cool part about it is that with the thousands of people that are going to attend that, just like a class, but times 100, you're going to be able to get the actual feeling that we had on tour. You're going to be able to get it right in your homes.
It's gonna be
sometimes
fun.
even more. I mean, when we did I think we did one with just over 1,000 people, January 1st.
January 1st.
Yeah. And that was 2023. I remember teaching that class and almost falling over because it was so much, it was so high, and there was so much energy because we had so many people moving together, and we hadn't experienced that before. Now we've done it in person, so I'm becoming more familiar with it, but it it'll be interesting to see that as we get more people into a room, it's like those meditations that people do when they all meditate at the same time with an intention to better humanity or whatever their intention is. I think it's going to be very similar, but with movement, and it's a completely different experience.
Yeah.
So, but I was asking about Thanksgiving because we're collaborating with Giselle.
Giselle's Vegan
Bakery.
Bakery. Yeah. So
She has something special.
we have content. Giselle and I bake together. It did not taste like what she bakes. Let's be very, very clear. There's some magic that lady has, and so we're launching a line of sweets with her called Sweets That Heal. And it has, the primary ingredients that are being used currently for the 5 items that are coming out. It's the Power Kirk, which is a curcumin base. It's the world's strongest anti-inflammatory as we know it. And it's also the fascial sweet. So it's, we tested this out in LA. We were there, we had a carrot cake, we had a pie, we had a tart. And these sweets are sweets that literally take you off sugar, help your blood sugar, and they help heal your pancreas.
Delicious.
And that's what the cool part about it is. So these are going to be available in Air One and other fine grocery outlets. And it's also going to be available online. And we're starting Thanksgiving with a pumpkin pie.
Yeah. Well, I think that the nice thing is when we had set the intention to make an impact years ago, it was like, what are all the things that people are currently doing that we can kind of maneuver our way into, and replacing sugar and then adding anti-inflammatories into desserts and treats that people are going to consume anyways is a much better way to do it than to just take it away altogether. So I think that this is an amazing collaboration. I think that she does everything organic and plant-based, and she puts a lot of heart and care into her work. And to add now, our supplements, it's just an amazing collaboration. And
it's kind of weird because I've stopped eating sweet things,
yeah, me
sugar.
too.
And even when the chefs would cook on the road for us to cook, I'd taste a bite, and that was it. When I eat a piece of the Sweets That Heal, which is Giselle's, I'll eat a second one and sometimes a third one. I catch myself going back because I want the sweet sensation, but I don't want the sugar rush.
Yeah, and then there's also something we talk about all the time is if you feel guilty because you ate something, it's actually worse than if you just ate it and it wasn't good for you. And that guilt or those emotions are part of the issue. And if we can remove the emotions that come with eating a healthy snack, I mean, that's a little bit better.
So there's going to be entire pies that are available for Thanksgiving, and there's going to be single serve that will appear in grocery stores like Air One.
Yeah.
And so if you're anywhere near an Air One, you got to go pick this up.
Yeah.
And share it with people. So it'll be co-branded. It's a collaborative experience. It's the first one that we're doing, and we've got 5+ more items coming.
Yeah, and I think if anybody buys it, like, take a photo and tag us on Instagram. I really want to see people supporting Giselle. She's got a big heart and wants to create sweets that heal. So she's the perfect person for this. Yeah, I mean, today's actually Halloween, and it's a new moon tonight.
You can see Jason there hanging.
Jason's hanging in there.
And the energy's kind of interesting. I was just pulling it. It was 8 degrees Scorpio sun, 0 degrees Scorpio moon, 27 degrees Scorpio in your mind, Mercury. So a lot of boundaries, a lot of transformation.
Yes.
And, I'd sent an email out earlier, like maybe a week ago, about Scorpio season and what it means to us as a company, as an organization, personally. It's always been a time where it's very clear what we don't want, and then we go through this process of working together to find out what we do want. We always paint our picture. But the energy's interesting. The world is an interesting place, and I really want to bring people together through these classes, through these events. It's time for us to get together and help each other, and I think this is now's the time. And I just want to put that out there because I know we're hosting all these events, but we're doing it because we're seeing what people are going through, and everybody we're talking to is going through some sort of shift, and they feel alone. And to bring everybody into the same place to talk about it, I think is going to be important right now. So
yeah, it gives everybody a place to land, especially with all the election and all the unknowns that come with that.
Everything.
So it gives us all a place to
Should
gather.
we make an early prediction that? No, I'm just joking.
You know, it doesn't really matter.
No,
I mean,
no.
people make a big difference out of it, but you know, my experience is people are going to fight, argue, then they'll go back to living their lives.
Yeah.
And what they're going to do is be picking up the pieces of all the emotions, anger, frustrations, and fears that they've carried, which has now impacted their health. And you can see it in the questions that we get every day.
Yeah. Well, and November 18th is the flip.
Yeah.
So,
I predict that things are going to calm down until November 18th.
yeah, it's going to go right through. And, you know, I mean, this is actually one of the more difficult decisions that we've made over the last few years, because it's something that people keep asking us to do, and we haven't done it yet, which is to release an official coaching program.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And part of why, you know, we were focused on sharing this with people so that they could have self-healing, and one of the things that we learned along the way is to accelerate into 1 billion people is to have a ton of leaders and a ton of coaches and practitioners or whoever wants to take this and share it with other people. Because then even when I'm sleeping, someone in Italy is teaching a class to 30 people, and that moves the mission forward. And, you know, we sat with it for a little while because we haven't done something like this. I mean, we've had volunteer programs, but nothing official. So the type of content that we're putting in behind the reel, we're actually going to be crafting an entire workshop program, game tapes, case studies, Q&As, everything that we know, we're going to document it, almost like a book.
Yeah.
And people can sign up for this program, they can go through it, and they'll learn how to be a coach from head to toe. And part of, we have something extremely special when it comes to helping people feel good in their bodies. And, you know, even in Austin, when we have 300 people on either side of the stage and we work through them in 8 hours and have these rapid transformations and emotional releases, like, I don't know any other practice on the planet that even has close to that level of impact in less than 3 minutes. So we're going to show people how to do it, and we're also going to review moments that we've been helping people, which I think is going to be really fun. So that is going to be launching in the new year, and it's going to transform our movement because now we're going to have people all over the world actually coaching and teaching others.
I think the important thing is this targets a lot of people that are already successful in their business of helping people. They're practitioners or they're coaches already, and 6 months or 9 months isn't a program that they can do. And then people can still go through our coaching programs. They can still go through all of our free content, but the ability to give them something in a short, condensed format quickly that they can go through and that they can review at their own time and implement in their practice.
Yeah.
This is really the target for it. And I do expect, I mean, we've had people asking us for this for years.
Yeah, and there's also a lot of people who can't go through a 28-day life reset and a lifestyle artist program and all of our other programs because they literally have full-time schedules helping people already. And so we want to create a platform and a space where, you know, there's also people who aren't able to do that can step in and start to learn this so we can move the mission forward. And, you know, I think the ultimate would be a bunch of studios, like yoga studios or gyms or clinics, look at this and they say, I want to train our entire staff. I want everybody on my team to understand this practice and then have a full-on place that runs fashion maneuvers.
I want to open that up. If you are a studio or you have a program and you have a bunch of coaches and you want to add this to your repertoire, come to us individually. We will talk to people. Like if you're bringing 20 or 30 people, we will make concessions and we will make deals, because currently right now we have people being asked all over to go and teach fashion mover classes in yoga studios, performance studios, to classes, to sports organizations. And what we want to do is we can't currently fill that demand, so what we're doing is putting in people.
I was testing that yesterday. Like, I taught a class at the dance studio. Nobody knows what human garage is. They don't know what fashion maneuvers are. I just teach them that. No, and everybody was feeling so high at the end, and they were like all wanting to touch each other and hug each other, that they came in for a second dose today, but the room got full too fast, so a lot of people had to stay outside and couldn't get in, and nobody understand what happened because they don't know what they were doing.
Right.
They thought they came for a stretch, but everybody was hugging everybody, which I go there when we're here every day, and we have never seen people hug each other, ever.
Wow.
So we were all making fun, like Nat and I today, and it's like, why everybody's hugging? It's like, what did you give them? And I'm like, nothing. I just make them feel good and high. So now the other coaches are asking, how do we learn how to teach this? So that's just gonna be a need. That's already a need everywhere, even when people don't know what fashion maneuvers are or what human garage is. Like the power, the magic, and the result still shows and still impacts.
It's
the
more
people.
fun that way too.
Oh yeah.
When nobody knows what they're about to get. Yeah. I mean, what I honestly love about this is when you meet someone who has no idea who you are, what you do, and you help them, and then they just transform like almost instantly. And it's like, you just see their face, like they can't believe it. Whereas when, you know, somebody knows you or they have expectations, they're always measuring against that. And so that random act of kindness or helping people that don't know is almost more fun
That's
sometimes.
really fun.
Yeah.
So we are taking steps in the performance area. We're working with some of the top coaches and teams on the planet. They've been approaching this. And if you are a team or you're a coach, high-level coach, reach out to us, because we are expanding the mission that way. We were working, like I said, a month and a half ago with the Dodgers. Go Dodgers! You know, and getting ready to go in the off season and start moving fashion maneuvers performance into there. Super cool. But on top of all of that, you know, one thing I want to say is that we've launched Behind the Reel, and that's I was there doing those treatments. I can't take my eyes off it. I have to watch it over and over again.
It is kind of
The intensity of those treatments, and we have some stuff coming up this week. Probably one of the most impactful treatments of somebody who's overcome trauma that I've ever experienced in my life. Lakota.
Yeah.
And
The trailer will be going out.
when's the trailer going out?
I don't know, the trailer will go out soon, but the actual launch is going to be November 26th. And it goes through Christmas. That was intentional because it's something that I want. When people are at home for Christmas, they tend to talk, they tend to share. And a story like that is just, it's so powerful when people are together. You know, I want them to talk about it. I want them to show each other that. So it was intentionally placed over Christmas time.
That's going to be one of the most impactful stories that I've ever worked on.
Yeah. Very touching.
Yeah.
Just with a spoiler alert, it's someone who's been actively, his mother tried to kill him.
Yeah.
And it was and who he is today as a result of this. It is incredible.
Yeah, I mean, Mike editing it was like, he had to pause it a few times because it was so intense. Yeah. Super cool. So I think that's everything for today. But I do feel that now's a time for everybody to paint their visions of their future. It's a very powerful time to do that. We always do it between November 11th and like November 18th-ish. It takes a couple days because you have to kind of go in and out of it. Write down what you don't want, write down what you want, and over time it builds clarity. But it's super powerful because even we just got off a call with an organization in Costa Rica who just literally verbalized everything we had written on paper 2 years ago at the same time, and they just presented that to us yesterday. And
they're basically saying, we'll build you
what
community.
you wrote down.
Build you the community that you wrote down 2 years ago.
Yeah. And so if anybody is hearing this or watching this, it's time to paint your vision of the future. And if you need some help with it, we'll put some questions out through our content over the next couple of weeks so that you can get some clarity.
So just to wrap up, we've got the event in Miami. If you're there, we're going to be live. If you're in Miami, it'll also be available online on the 8th. We've got the event coming up on the 9th in Miami. It's the wellness weekend, and we'll be doing performance maneuvers. We've got another event coming up for disaster relief in North Carolina. That'll be announced shortly. We've got Behind the Reel that people can subscribe to immediately, and the coaching program, as well as Giselle's.
We've been busy, like super busy. But this is part of, I think, when we do what we do and the way we do it, we attract some really cool people.
Yeah, it's starting to happen now.
And it's no longer a movement that's being driven by one, it's now many. And people like Giselle, people like the ones in Costa Rica, all the way to the documentary that we're building. I mean, there's tons of stuff happening, and it's because we have such an amazing community. So thank you for today's episode.
And the power of writing your vision down.
Yeah, we'll see you
Very
in
powerful.
Florida next week.
Florida next week.
See you. Bye.